A recession is coming. And before you click away, before you tell yourself everything's fine and your portfolio looks great, you need to understand something critical. Everyone watching this right now is standing at a fork in the road. Two paths. You either prepare for what's coming or you become a victim of it. Let me be crystal clear. I don't deal with victims. I build winners. So here's what I need you to do right now. Hit that subscribe button. Why? Because what I'm about to share with you is worth thousands, maybe tens of thousands to your financial future. If you're serious about protecting your money, about building wealth while the economy crumbles around you, then you need to be part of this community. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and let's get to work. Now, let me tell you exactly how I know a recession is coming. I've been in this game for over 30 years. I've built companies, I've sold companies, I've made fortunes, and I've watched people lose everything they had. Every single time before a crash, before the economy falls apart, I see the same signs, the same patterns, the same mistakes people make over and over. And right now, my friends, I'm seeing those signs again. You want to know the biggest mistake people make? They think they have time. They say, the market's still going up. My house is still worth more. My job is secure. So they keep spending. They keep borrowing. They keep living like the party will never end. But let me tell you something about parties. They always end. Always. And when this one ends, it's going to be brutal for the people who didn't prepare. I'm not here to scare you. Fear is useless. Fear paralyzes you. I'm here to wake you up. I'm here to slap you in the face financially and tell you that you need to get your act together now because the window to protect yourself is closing. Every day, every week you wait, that window gets smaller. And when it slams shut, when the recession hits and layoffs start and the market drops 30, 40, 50%, you're going to wish you listened to me today. So what signs am I seeing? First, I'm looking at consumer debt. Do you know how much debt the average person is carrying right now? Credit cards maxed out, car loans that are underwater, mortgages on houses they can't afford. This is insanity. This is exactly what I saw before the last crash. People are borrowing money to maintain a lifestyle they can't sustain. And when the economy slows down, when companies start cutting back, when jobs disappear, all that debt becomes a noose around their neck. Second, I'm watching corporate earnings. The media will tell you everything's great. They'll point to a few big tech companies and say, look how well they're doing. But I look deeper. I look at the companies that actually employ people, the businesses that make things and provide services. And what I see is margin compression. I see companies cutting costs, firing people, struggling to stay profitable. That's not a sign of a healthy economy. That's a sign of an economy that's sick and about to get sicker. Third, and this is the big one, I watch what the smart money is doing. Not what they're saying, but what they're actually doing. The smart money, the institutional investors, the billionaires, the people who have information you and I don't have, they're moving to cash. They're pulling out of risky assets. They're building reserves. They're buying gold. They're buying bonds. They're doing everything they can to protect themselves. Why? Because they know what's coming. Now you're probably thinking, okay, I get it. A recession is coming, but what do I actually do? How do I protect myself? That's exactly what I'm going to tell you. But first, you need to understand something fundamental about wealth. Wealth isn't made when times are good. Anyone can make money in a boom. Your neighbor's dog could make money in a bull market. Real wealth, generational wealth, life-changing wealth, that's made in the tough times. It's made by the people who are prepared, who have cash when everyone else is panicking, who can buy assets when they're on sale. I've made more money during recessions than I ever did during booms. Why? Because I was ready. Because I wasn't caught off guard, because I had a plan. And that's exactly what I'm going to give you today. A plan, a strategy, a roadmap, not just to survive the coming recession, but to dominate it. But here's the thing, and you need to hear this loud and clear. This only works if you act now. If you wait until the recession is officially here, if you wait until the headlines are screaming about layoffs and crashes, you're too late. The time to prepare for a storm is before it hits, not when it's raining, not when the wind is howling, before. So let me ask you a question. How much cash do you have right now? How much money do you have in liquid assets that you can access immediately? Not your retirement account, not your home equity, actual cash. If you lost your job tomorrow, how long could you survive? 1 month, 3 months, 6 months? I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't have at least 6 months of expenses in cash, you're not ready. You're vulnerable. And in a recession, vulnerable people get crushed. This is where most people fail. They hear the warning, they nod their heads, and then they do nothing. They go right back to their spending habits, their debt habits, their terrible financial decisions. And then when the recession comes, they act surprised. They act like this was impossible to predict. I'm not going to let that happen to you. Not if you're smart enough to listen. The first thing you need to do, and I mean this week, not next month, not when you feel like it, this week, is build your cash fortress. I call it a fortress because that's what it is. It's your defense. It's your protection. It's your weapon. Everyone says cash is king in a recession, but almost nobody does it. People keep their money in stocks, real estate, crypto, assets that are going to tank when the market crashes, and then they're stuck. No liquidity, no options, no power. Here's what I do. I keep at least 20% of my net worth in cash and cash equivalents. Some people think that's crazy. They say you're losing money to inflation. Cash is trash. And you know what I say to that? That's stupid thinking. When the market crashes 40% and I can buy your stocks for pennies on the dollar, when your business is going bankrupt and I can buy your assets for 20 cents on the dollar, who's the idiot then? Cash gives you options. It gives you freedom. It gives you the ability to be a buyer when everyone else is forced to be a seller. So how do you build this cash fortress? You cut expenses ruthlessly. I want you to pull up your bank statement right now, every transaction from last month. And for every expense, I want you to ask yourself one question. Is this absolutely necessary? Not, do I like it? Not, do I deserve it? Is it necessary? If the answer is no, you cut it right now. That subscription service you barely use, gone. That gym membership you use twice a month, canceled. That expensive car payment on a car you don't need, sell it, buy something cheaper. People hate hearing this. They think I'm being harsh. They think I'm telling them to live like monks. But you know what I'm really doing? I'm trying to save your financial life, because every dollar you save now is a dollar you'll have to protect yourself when things get bad. Every dollar you save is a dollar you can invest when assets are cheap. This isn't about being cheap. This is about being smart. Now, the second thing you absolutely must do is kill bad debt. Notice I said bad debt. Not all debt is the same. If you have a mortgage at 3%, I'm not telling you to pay it off early. That's cheap money. But credit card debt at 20%, car loans at 8%, personal loans, that kind of debt is killing you. It's a cancer on your finances, and you need to cut it out now. Here's my strategy. List every debt you have from highest interest rate to lowest. Then attack the highest interest debt with everything you've got. Every spare dollar, every bonus, every tax refund, throw it all at that debt. Why? Because that debt is costing you more than any investment could possibly make you right now. If you're paying 20% interest on a credit card, paying it off is a guaranteed 20% return. Find me an investment that gives you a guaranteed 20% return. You can't. It doesn't exist. Let me tell you something else about debt. When the recession hits and companies start laying people off, who gets hit first? People with debt. They're the most desperate. They can't negotiate. They can't take risks. They can't wait for a better opportunity. They have to take whatever job they can get because they have bills to pay. That's slavery, financial slavery, and I don't want that for you. The third thing, and this is critical, is to diversify your income. Most people have one source of income, their job. They think that's security. It's not security. It's vulnerability, because if you lose that job, your income goes to zero instantly. In a recession, nobody's safe. I don't care what industry you're in or how good you are. Layoffs happen. Companies fail. Entire sectors can collapse. So what do? You build multiple income streams. I'm not talking about get-rich-quick schemes or MLMs. I'm talking about real, sustainable income sources. Maybe it's a side business. Maybe it's rental income. Maybe it's dividend income from investments. Maybe it's freelance work in your field. The form doesn't matter as much as the principle. You need more than one way to make money. I have 7 different income streams. Why? Because I never want to be dependent on any single source. If one dries up, I have 6 others. That's real security. That's real financial independence. You don't need 7, but you absolutely need more than one. Start small, start with 2, then build from there. Now let's talk about your investment portfolio, because this is where people make catastrophic mistakes. They panic, the market starts dropping, and they sell everything. Or worse, they freeze and watch their portfolio lose half its value. Both are disasters. You need to understand this. A recession isn't the end of the world. It's a transfer of wealth. Wealth moves from the unprepared to the prepared, from the panic to the patient, from weak hands to strong hands. So what's my strategy? I move to defense before the recession hits. That means reducing my exposure to risky assets. I take profits on stocks that have run up too much. I sell positions I'm not completely confident in, and I move that money into defensive positions. What's a defensive position? Think consumer staples, think healthcare, think utilities. These are companies that sell products and services people need, no matter what the economy is doing. People still need food, electricity, medicine. These stocks might not shoot to the moon in good times, but they also don't crash as hard in bad times. I also increase my allocation to dividend-paying stocks. Why? Because dividends give you income even when the stock price is falling. And if you reinvest those dividends during a recession, you're buying more shares at cheaper prices. That's how you build wealth. That's how you come out of a recession richer than you went in. But here's the key. The thing that separates winners from losers. You need to have cash ready to deploy when panic hits, when the market's down 30, 40, 50%, and everyone's screaming that the world is ending. That's when you buy. That's when you go shopping. That's when you pick up great companies at fire sale prices. But you can only do that if you have cash. If you're fully invested when the crash comes, you can't buy anything. You just have to sit there and watch the opportunity pass you by. I've done this multiple times in my career. Every recession, every crash, I've made a fortune. Not because I'm smarter than everyone else, not because I have a crystal ball, but because I was prepared, because I had cash, because I had a plan. While everyone else was panicking, I was buying. Let me talk about something nobody wants to hear, but everyone needs to understand. Your job, your career, the thing that pays your bills right now. In a recession, your value to your employer is going to be tested. And if you're not prepared, if you're not indispensable, you're going to be on the chopping block. It's that simple. Companies don't fire their best people. They fire their most expensive people and their least productive people. So which one are you? Here's what you need to do starting tomorrow. Make yourself invaluable. Find ways to make money for your company. Find ways to save money. Take on projects nobody else wants. Become the person your boss can't imagine losing. Because when layoffs come, and they will, the decision is made in 30 seconds. A manager looks at a list of names and asks one question: can I afford to lose this person? If the answer is yes, you're gone. And you need to be networking right now, not after you lose your job, not when you're desperate. Now, you need to be building relationships in your industry. You need to be visible. You need to be known, because if you get laid off, your network is going to be your lifeline, not sending resumes into the void. A phone call from someone who knows you, trusts you, wants to hire you. That doesn't happen by accident. It happens because you put in the work building those relationships before you needed them. Now, let me tell you about the biggest opportunity a recession creates, an opportunity most people completely miss: real estate. When the economy tanks, when people lose their jobs, when they can't afford their mortgage payments, real estate prices crash. And that's when smart investors build generational wealth. I'm not talking about flipping houses or speculation. I'm talking about buying rental properties at massive discounts and holding them long term. Here's why. During a recession, people who lose their homes still need a place to live. they become renters. So rental demand actually goes up during recessions. At the same time, property prices go down. So you're buying low and collecting steady or even increasing rental income. That's a powerful combination. But here's the thing, you need cash to do this. You need a down payment. You need reserves. You need to be able to close on properties when banks have stopped lending. This is why everything I told you before connects. The cash fortress you built, the debt you killed, the extra income you created, it all comes together to give you the ability to act when opportunity shows up. While everyone else is scared, while everyone else is broke, you're ready to move. You're ready to buy assets that will generate wealth for the next 20, 30, 40 years. Let me share something personal. I've been through multiple recessions in my career. I've seen people lose everything. I've seen families destroyed. I've seen wealthy people end up bankrupt. The common thread, they weren't prepared. They thought good times would last forever. They leveraged themselves to the max. They spent every dollar they made. And when the recession hit, they had no cushion, no backup plan, no way out. But I've also seen the opposite. I've seen people come out of recessions as millionaires, people who bought businesses for pennies on the dollar, people who built real estate empires, people who created wealth that changed their family's future for generations. The common thread, they were prepared. They sacrificed when times were good so they could prosper when times were bad. They understood that wealth isn't built by doing what everyone else does. Wealth is built by doing what everyone else won't. So here's my final challenge to you. I want you to make a decision right now. Are you going to be a victim or a victor? Are you going to let this recession destroy you, or are you going to use it to build wealth? It's one or the other. There's no middle ground. The recession is coming whether you like it or not. The only question is whether you're ready. Starting today, I want you to implement everything I've told you. Build that cash reserve, cut those expenses, kill that bad debt, diversify your income, make yourself invaluable at work, build your network, position your investments defensively. And then when the crash comes, when everyone else is panicking, you'll be calm, you'll be ready. You'll be shopping while they're selling in fear. This isn't theory. This isn't something I read in a book. This is what I've done over and over in my career. This is how I've built wealth. This is how I've not just survived, but thrived through every downturn. And if you follow this plan, if you actually do the work instead of just nodding and forgetting about it tomorrow, you can do the same. Now, I need something from you. If this video added value, if you now understand what you need to do, I need you to smash that like button. Why? Because it tells the algorithm to show this video to more people. Right now, millions of people need to hear this message. People who are about to get financially destroyed because nobody warned them. You can help me reach them by hitting that like button. Second, I need you to subscribe to this channel and become a member. Why? Because this is just the beginning. I'm going to be putting out a ton more content on how to navigate this recession, specific investment ideas, detailed strategies, real-time updates on what I'm seeing in the market. But I can only do that if this channel grows. If you want access to that information, you need to be part of this community. Subscribe, turn on notifications, become a member. Third, I need you to share this video. Send it to friends, send it to family, post it on your social media. Why? Because the people you care about need this information too. Maybe they won't listen to you, but maybe they'll listen to me. Maybe this video will be the wake-up call that saves their financial future. You have the power to help them. Use it.